Good afternoon. I hope everybody's had a lovely lunch. You're ready to have dessert now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about the background of why we got to C2 Montréal, which is a conference that we created several years ago. This is Sid Lee. This is a collection. It's not a Chinese laundrette bloke. He's actually the name of an agency. And Sid Lee is an anagram of the word diesel, because for 18 years we were called Diesel until Diesel tried to sue us, so we changed it. So Sid Lee's a collection of 600, nearly now, creative folk from around the world. And we're known for our advertising and our creative in the world of people like Facebook, Intel, Adidas. We're working with Absolute Vodka, restructuring. And where we brought our difference, our point of difference is that Cirque du Soleil is our business partner. Has anybody seen a Cirque du Soleil performance? Okay, good. I'm not going to be performing this afternoon. But the key element there is when you're actually getting into engaging people with live entertainment or brands' live experiences, there's no better partner in the world than the world's largest entertainment company for doing live events like Cirque du Soleil. So what we did is we created an agency that's like a modern-day Bauhaus. It mixes the art and craft with the digital, the way that technology is ruling our lives now, and bringing it into real storytelling and how to engage brands to today's public. And so we have offices all over the world, mainly based out of Europe and North America, in Calgary, Toronto, Montreal, and then New York, Los Angeles, Amsterdam, and Paris. And we've been growing this business to service brands that really want to go about transformation. So I'm going to show you just 4 key elements here of how we actually engage. And we use the same methodology when we're actually hosting our events. First of all, we look to recruit entry point consumers. So for Absolute, we launched the new campaign, Transform Today, using it so that we're actually engaging people with artists around the world. It's really authentic, and it's how the brand comes to life. Because a brand like Absolute doesn't need any more publicity or awareness. It needs relevancy. And so what we do is when we're creating our events, what's the relevancy for the people there? How are they going to really engage? So we mirror the principles of what the company offers. Here for doing things like Batman, launching it in Europe, here we're engaging the public so that they can interact with the creative that we're creating. Same at C2. When you're there, you're not there as a viewer. We give you things to do. You're a participant, and you remember it that way. You engage that way. We also ignite relationships. We helped launch Red Bull, mainly in the North American sphere. And there we created an anthemic event where people engage with the environment. They engage with the whole experience, so they feel as though they're part of it. They're not just athletes. They're friends. They're people that are performance elite and engaging in a whole new way. And then finally, we spark conversation. We do that for brands like Facebook, launching Messenger in South America, around the world. Also, when we're at the event, we look for ways to spark a conversation so people feel that they're part of the tapestry, but they're resonating that out the world. For C2, we had 280 million impressions in our first year because everybody was so excited. They were spreading the news about how the different event activities were happening. And that's when we know we've got a good story and we've got a great platform of how to engage. So this is what we offer as an agency. We come forward and we build these transformation experiences. How are you transformative in making the brands relevant for today? How is your trade show, how is your event relevant for people, business people today? So just a quick test here. I want you just to hold hands with the person next to you. Go on, all of you, hold on, just reach out. I can see a crossed hand over there. Uncross your hands. So now I know that you're actually engaged with another human, and you're probably thinking, you're probably wondering, you know, I hope they wash their hands after the lunchtime bathroom, or is that a wart I feel, or she's actually really cute, I've been trying to sit next to her all day. But this is what we're about. All right, you can let go now, unless you actually kind of like this, actually. This is what we're about. How can you get as close with your experience to a physical experience? And so what we did is we're doing advertising, we have 50 architects, so we're creating physical environments, we have social media, we have CRM and analytics, we have branding. It's something that this is what we feel marketers, but this is what we feel consumers want to be engaged with. Same with the events. How do we make it totally relevant? And we didn't do events. We didn't do any large conferences until we were realizing there wasn't something out there that was really engaging for us as global creatives. And also, it was a mix. It was a gap in the middle. You could go from one extreme for creatives, and you could go to Burning Man, but we couldn't have people paying and coming naked and on drugs for the whole of our conference. Or you can go to the other side, and you can get things like TED, where you've been inspired, but it's very much philanthropic. And so we wanted to be in the middle and make it about commercial creativity, because that's how we earn our crust. We're paid, and marketers need to earn. So we created this environment that would be a mix between the madness of one side and the inspiration of another, because that felt natural, that felt intuitively what kind of event we'd like to go to. So we built C2 Montréal, and we built it on 4 key pillars. But before I start, I'll show you a quick tape so you can understand the context of the C2 conference.
People here like making deals and getting inspired with new ideas, and what I've seen is people piling on. Like someone has an idea, people like, I want to help with that, how can I help? And that is a really wonderful spirit. I'm loving that here.
When you have the luck to have a good idea, you have a duty to share it.
We believe that architecture should be the art of designing our cities and buildings like man-made ecosystems.
It's an art and it's a discipline, and frankly it's just hard work.
This is a place for inspiration, this is a place for stimulation, but it's also a place for doing business.
C2 is just a wonderful conference to be inspired, get some great ideas, and bring them back into your world.
You hear an awful lot about how this is a creative city. That's all we ever hear about is how Montreal's got great art and great music and great everything, so show it.
It's so refreshing to have a conference like this, and congratulations.
So I think the proof in the pudding for making a conference like this successful is the people who visit, the people who visited for the last few years are now coming back, but they're bringing not just their clients, but they're bringing back their teams, and they're using this as an offsite for creativity and an offsite for training, and also, more importantly, an offsite for camaraderie when they're coming into a corporation and they're trying to have a transformation agenda. They're trying to change the mindset of their teams. Because here, you have a 3-day totally immersive experience. It's not one of those conferences where you go in, you see your lecture and you go outside and you have a sad sandwich in a crappy area where you're standing at a little podium hoping someone will talk to you. You know, I'm fairly introverted even though I'm doing this, but I hate more than death standing at those kind of venues trying to be cool and creative, because it's all about the people who've been in the industry 20 years, who know each other and they're long in the tooth and you don't find new inspiration. This was done by introverted creatives who said, how can I be holistically engaged the whole time? How can I feel really great about it? And so we have these 4 pillars. And so I'd seek you to actually look at these when you're creating your events or when you're involved in events. 1, how do you inspire? You do need best-in-class speakers, you know, from Sir Richard Branson through to Blake from Tom's Shoes, or you know, Philip Shepard, the Queen's celloist. They're all challenging the brain to think differently. but you also need to have people that you can connect with. And what's very different about what we wanted from our venue was that people would actually spend time there. They wouldn't come on stage, say thank you very much, and then go off to their Learjet and disappear. They're there for the 3 days. And because it's all very chill and the environment is created in such a way, people communicate and engage in a way that the inspiration is spread throughout. And you feel recharged. You feel full, but you don't feel tired and lethargic. It's in a UNESCO city of design that's very creative. With next is we have experimentation. We're all into playing. If we're bored, we bend down, we start doodling. So we bring the doodling and the exploration into the environment. We go really analog. And so where people are actually smelling things, they've got ice cream machines to have breaks, they're actually printing, they're actually making things with screen printing, their own environments, their t-shirts, whatever. It's just a break. It's not a gimmick, it's to spark the mind to move to the other side, to absorb and to start thinking differently. Again, it's nothing worse than standing there or being in a line trying to do something fun. Here it's in so many different areas, there's constant stimulation to move the brain from left to right all the time. The third pillar is about connection, and we make it really easy, and I'm going to explain in a second the technology that we created to allow that to happen. But there's nothing worse, again, that if you're fairly new to an environment that you feel that you're hoping to bump into somebody at the bar who's probably trying to pick you up anyway, you want to have decent conversations and you want to engage without stalking somebody. So we help that come to life and build that sort of connection. So even if the environment is set, we've created it so it's outside, you're chilling, you're sitting on cushions, you're at a bar. The environment's created so it feels as resonant to the world that we live in versus some crappy hotel lobby where you feel bad and it smells already of mothballs and you're just not enjoying it. So we try and make it as homely and as connected as possible. And the last thing is we celebrate. Usually what happens after a conference like that, as soon as the bell goes, probably before the last speaker's spoken, you all dart off to the pub, or you'll dart off home, or you'll do something terrible. What we do is we try and create an environment where you actually celebrate and you're there. We had Moby close the first concert. Cirque do 6 original performances specifically for C2. There's spit roast lambs outside, so the food is awesome. It's fresh coconuts in the morning. It's that sign of environment that you're like, this is awesome. I'm not just being recharged by inspiration, I'm being recharged by my being. And it's about this. It's the guttural mindset to make our conference work, not this. Because this is full of reasons of why things aren't going to work. You know when it's working when your stomach tells you that this environment is gutturally correct. And that's how we've created it. So this is leading to my last sort of point, and that's the technology behind it. Technology, excuse the French, should be your bitch. What we're all getting labored with is, I've got this bit of technology, and then you spend all your life doing this and missing all the action. I'd have a lot more sex if I didn't have an iPhone in my hand when I went to bed or when I woke up. Am I right? Okay. Same when you're at the conference. Put it away, you engage, you're getting part of the environment. And the technology allows you to flow. It prevents you from being labored. And this is the first piece of technology that we introduced that I'll let you have a quick demo tape. And it's the ultra high frequency RFID badges that you enter the actual conference with. So this little demo will show you how that works.
Now I got you drunk, acting from the boat. Show me what you want, give me what you want. I'ma make you mine, get you on the floor. Watch me go to work, I put on a show. Now I got you drunk.
So the RFID system here, because it's ultra high frequency, I can track any guest within 50 feet of an antennae. Usually it's 3 feet for a frequency that's a lot lower, a lower charge. What does this allow me to do? Once people have actually joined, they can move freely in and out seamlessly throughout the conference. It also allows me to track where everybody is. And if I suddenly find that everybody is in here instead of out there listening to Will Travis from Sid Lee, I can ensure that the staffing system is here as well. We also have ambassadors at the actual conference and concierge. So every single person has a concierge person that connects them, telling them where the best coffee is, how they can make meetings, how they can connect to each other, any questions about the event, and they're at a phone call away. But we ensure through this access system and also tracking system, working off the same thing, we know where everybody is in all the different dimensions of the conference, because it's not one room. There's 20 different areas, be it outside, etc. So that means we know what our audience is doing, instead of guessing, and once we bought a ticket, just letting them roam around. So this is a brilliant technology that allows us to do it. It's expensive, so we get a sponsor who actually then covers that. And that quickly takes over the cost and the weight for it, because everyone wants to exhibit technologies that are new and innovative, so it saves us a cost. The second one is a cashless system. So we use Square as our partner. Why? Because our first conference, we had everyone lining up with cash. And suddenly, everybody is complaining that it's getting cold, that they hate standing in a line, etc., etc. Square allows you to move very freely, quickly on the purchase acquisitions of your food at lunchtime, of exhibits of clothing things, items, cool things you want to buy, and move through the whole process. It also means we can track, again with the data, what's happening where, and determine for the next conference where we're actually increasing certain types of food, certain bottlenecks that are happening, all these different elements. And we can also drive that data to add value to sponsors to understand where people and transactions are happening. Plus, everybody's got a credit card, so it's very easy to engage with it. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Number of conferences that don't have it astounds me. And then the final thing is this hub network. We created the partner network called Hub so that you could actually make meetings beforehand, but it doesn't act like a LinkedIn or a Salesforce. This allows it to act more like a dating service. It's not just your business details, it's things that you're into. Maybe it's, I do mountaineering, or I like going to certain theaters, or I like to do certain things. All that information is in there, and any more information you want to do when you actually attend the event. So it will link people that are not only in the same business fields, but I may have a like-minded, the head of technology at X company is an avid explorer, and I actually want to chat with someone like that because it's an event that's social and business. So it thinks for you. It starts to work your system. It also, because I have certain interests, will tell me on my actual agenda, this is the kind of lecture you should go and see because you'll find it really inspiring. And this will allow somebody who's, say, in music to link somebody in banking to allow them to educate them about certain technologies that they're using. So it's a modern-day sort of dating system that allows total fluidity throughout the whole conference. And that makes content and engagement really rich. And again, it prevents stalling, the looking down, and more into the engagement. Everything's teed up. It's that good, linked with the actual the high-frequency tracking, I can actually work out where people are. So I can make sure meetings, if they're supposed to arrange, do arrange. Because I can hone in on where somebody is and say, oh, so-and-so is waiting for you over here. And they're like, how the hell did you know where I am? Because we're thinking about and using the technology and the data to really help engage. So that's my little bit. If you would like to join us at C2 in May next year, you're more than very welcome. I hope you gained a few little lessons from what we're on about today. And if you want to go back to holding hands, please do. Thank you.